Hi guys, Ray from Whimsical Pictures here, and long time no see, as usual. Today, I just wanted to post a quick TBR video because I will be participating in ShaeGeeksOut 24-hour manga love readathon, which is a Valentine's Day themed readathon focused around reading romance manga or manga with strong romantic themes. And that is taking place on February 10th from midnight that morning to 11:59 that night. For me, on this side of the world, that is tomorrow. So I am very much looking forward to spending the whole day reading. I don't really have any plans besides reading, so it's a perfect day for a readathon. And yeah, I just wanted to show you guys what my options are for reading, what I'm sort of feeling like I'll be in the mood for. I've got a big stack. I'm not planning to get through the whole stack, obviously, but I prefer to have, a little bit of choice rather than forcing myself to read a particular title, because then I'm just like, no, you can't tell me what to do. But this year, I definitely really have been wanting to challenge myself to read more in Japanese. Not that I wasn't before, but there's a lot of titles that I found myself stalling on because I just didn't feel like reading a Japanese book. So this year, I definitely want to focus on reading primarily Japanese manga. That said, I do have one English option, and that is for if spending the whole day reading in Japanese, I get overwhelmed and need a bit of a break. I do have volumes 11 through 15 of Yona of the Dawn in English here. So anytime that I get tired of reading in Japanese, I can switch over to this and work on playing catch up on one of my favorite currently ongoing series. And this isn't necessarily primarily a romance manga, but I feel like the romance themes in it are strong enough to count. But yeah, that is my English option. The primary focus for me, though, is going to be on Japanese manga. So for that, my options are first a couple of catch-up volumes. So here we have volume 4 of Saotome Senshu Hitakaksu, which basically the cover tells you everything you need to know about this manga. It's a romantic comedy about the female star of her high school's boxing club and sort of this boxing otaku, boxing dweeb, who's in the club, named Satoru, who's a really nice and passionate guy who loves boxing more than anything in the world, but no matter how much he trains, he never seems to put on any weight. So he's had to put all of his passion into studying the sport of boxing. So he knows every tiny minute detail about the history of the sport and strategies for boxing, but he can't actually do it very well himself. And it's a silly series. Most of the drama comes from this really contrived scenario where Satoru and Saotome can't reveal that they're dating, or else her boxing career will be ruined for some reason. But the series handles that pretty tongue-in-cheek. It realizes that it's a pretty silly premise, and mostly this series exists to have fun with Saotome's really sort of masculine, cool personality, and of course to show off lots of ladies with gorgeous, rock-hard abs, which is certainly a goal that I can appreciate. So this is a series that's pretty light and fun. It's very simple Japanese, so it's easy for me to read. I tend to pick up volumes of this. There's 7 out right now, but I'll just grab a volume when I feel like it. So this one I grabbed a little while ago, and I just haven't gotten around to reading it. So yeah, good excuse. And then next we have Volume 4 also. This is the most recent one, the most recent volume to come out of Takane no Ransan. I'm not sure how I translate that title, but basically in Japanese, Takane no Hana, or the flower on the high ledge, is an expression meaning like referring to the type of person who's so beautiful and perfect at everything that they're unattainable in their amazingness. And that is our Ranchan here. She is the flower on a high ledge at her high school. She's beautiful. She has perfect grades. She's good at sports, and she's extremely hardworking within her club, which is the gardening club. And because of that, she doesn't have that many friends because they're intimidated by her. And she's intimidated by them because she's actually cripplingly shy. So we kind of have this Kimi ni Toroke set up where you have this girl who doesn't have very many friends. And the boy in class who's popular, like, not because he's, you know, the sports captain or whatever, but just because he's genuinely nice and wants to get along with everybody. A lot like Kazehaya from Kimi ni Toroke. And in this case, his name is Akira, which is adorable in itself. And he, much unbeknownst to the student population, has a secret part-time job at his family's flower shop, and he's actually really passionate about flowers and flower arranging, and Ranchan finds out about this, and she ends up working part-time at their flower shop too, and they just grow closer and closer and end up dating, and it's really cute, and it's full of like pretty art, especially pretty art of like flowers. So basically this is the kind of shoujo fluff that I live for. It's very soft, very sweet, definitely warms the cockles of my cold dead heart. And this is the most recent volume and I haven't read it yet, so good excuse. Next we have a Yuri manga. So this is volumes 2 and 3 of Nettai yo wa yuki ni kogareru. The tropical fish yearns for snow. This is a really soft Yuri title. There's like a lot of like sort of light ambiguity over whether it's romantic or like friendly. But the art's cute, and most importantly for me, this is set in my prefecture, Ehime, which nothing is ever set in Ehime, so I really enjoy this series for being able to read my local dialect and like see places that I recognize, so yeah. Then we have my option for a reread, which is the Yurikuma Arashi manga, completed 3 volumes. The last time I read this was one of the first Japanese manga I ever owned, and the last time I read this, my Japanese was a lot worse than it is now, and I feel like I missed out on a lot, and now with it coming out in English, and the new Ikuhara show coming out in April, I just feel like rereading this, so this is an option. Now we're getting into stuff that's kind of new to me, and I have 3 options for that. And the first one is the one that I accidentally went out and bought today. Oops. But that's okay. This is the much talked about and much raved about Ao no Furagu, Blue Flag, by Kaito. I got the first 3 volumes. This is a shonen romance manga that everyone says is really good. and particularly uh, somebody whose opinion I really trust got me to finally go get off my ass and get it. So we're gonna see how this is. I am like dying to read this, which is why I went to buy it immediately. This is a really top of the list contender for me tomorrow. This one's another likely candidate. I think I heard about this one from Manga Mogura on Twitter. They make my life so much easier in filtering through all of the manga that keeps coming out. But this one just seemed like my vibe. They said it was pretty, like, cliche, but, like, for me, when it's in this genre, that is actually a good thing. And this is called Itsuwari no Freya. This is the first 2 volumes, which I think is all that's out. I assume it has a romance bent to it because there's a lot of cute boys. So I assume there's going to be some sort of love triangle just flipping through it. But I think it's definitely a Western style fantasy. I think more like medieval England kind of thing, though of course the title makes me think like artificial Freya of deceit. is that makes me think Norse, but I think it's more of a medieval England kind of thing. It's got like knights in it. And I think it's about like a cross-dressing heroine who has to become a knight in order to impersonate her brother, from what I gather. I don't know anything about it beyond that. But I am a sucker for that shoujo fantasy, and yeah, basically if it goes through all of the cliches and plays them completely straight, I will be fine with it. I think my neighbor just dropped something. I'm sorry about that. This is the last one, which I picked up from Book Off a couple days ago because I had the flu, and then when it healed, I wanted to treat myself to a trip to the Book Off, which is also where I got Ao no Fragu, but I went back for that. Anyway, I got the first 4 Kanzenban volumes of... Aren't these pretty? They're so pretty. I love the colors. But this is Gokinjo Monogatari, Neighborhood Stories by Ayazawa. And if you have read Paradise Kiss, that is actually a spin-off of this much longer series. And while Paradise Kiss ran in a fashion magazine and is typically considered josei, this ran in a shoujo magazine, and it's about, I believe, high school students. And the main character is, like, wants to become a fashion designer, so she starts her own brand called Happy Berry. And that's basically all I know about it. I've never seen the anime or anything. Obviously, I've seen this character from her random cameo appearances in Paradise Kiss. But otherwise, I don't know anything about it, except that I love this author. I love Nana with my whole heart, and Paradise Kiss with a good portion of it. So I'm very excited to read this. So yeah, I have a lot of options, and that's just how I like it. I'm excited about a lot of these, and I'm excited to get my Japanese reading on. So yeah, I will talk to you hopefully in a wrap-up in a couple days. See you next time. Bye, guys.